Hey K-popers, and welcome back to Hallyu, where it's time for a fresh new dose of K-pop news and new music. Unfortunately, COVID has taken over this week's news cycle once again, as we have 3 idols who have tested positive for the virus, including what I understand to be the first case with actual symptoms. That being said, we also still have lots of great new releases to check out, of course, including songs from Kangta, Blackpink, and more. Before we get started, I want to quickly thank Hallyu's honorary producers. If you want to show off your bias group here, share your pics in weekly videos, and join a vibrant Discord community with watch parties, custom emoji, and more, all you need to do is support Hallyu on Patreon. Alright, now let's jump right in. This is your K-pop news update for July 18th, 2021. Now, really quick before we get started, I just want to let you guys know next week's news video will be coming to you on Monday, July 26th at the regular time, not Sunday. Believe it or not, I do have other commitments outside of K-pop, so for next week the news will be on Monday. So let's get this week's update started with another update on the COVID situation in K-pop. Now, if you watched last week's news update, you'll know that Korea is in the midst of its worst wave of cases to date, and last week there were a ton of exposures and one positive case, that being ATEEZ's son. Well, unfortunately this week we had 3 more idols test positive for the coronavirus. On July 13th, Naver reported that Treasure's Do-young had a confirmed case of COVID-19 after a self-test kit he used before a commercial shoot actually showed a positive result. At the time, all staff and other Treasure members tested negative, though unfortunately it didn't stay that way despite their self-quarantine. 3 days later, another Treasure member, this time Jung-hwan, also tested positive after continual checks subsequent to Do-young's case. And I wish those 2 cases was all that we had to talk about, but a third idol also tested positive for COVID-19 this week, that being BtoB's Minhyuk. After Minhyuk found out that his vocal coach had tested positive, Minhyuk himself got tested and the result was actually negative. But here's the alarming part. A few days later, Minhyuk went to a health center on July 16th, at which time he did test positive. He went to that center because he was experiencing several symptoms, including a cough and fever. Now, if you guys know differently, definitely let me know down in the comments, but to my knowledge, Minhyuk is the first idol who has had COVID-19 and has been symptomatic, so we're definitely in uncharted territory here and we really don't want to be. I'm sure we all know the idol lifestyle is very demanding on your body, so I hope Minhyuk is eating really well and resting a whole bunch. I wish him a very fast recovery, along with of course both Jung-hwan and Do-young from Treasure as well. Hopefully, with the Olympics causing a bit of a wind down in K-pop activities for a few weeks at least, we won't see more cases in our favorite idols in the coming weeks. And with that, let's switch gears and lighten the mood up as we jump into another great week of summer releases. Let's kick things off with Kangta, who finds himself meeting up with aespa's Winter and NCT's Sungchan and Kwangya in the MV for his HOT cover Free to Fly 2021. The boys are making their debut on Universe with a supernatural MV. Here is Drink It. Sleepy gave us Grandeur this week, a really well done and fast-paced rap track. Blackpink are back as they have finally released a Japanese version of their hit Lovesick Girls. Former 2NE1 member Minzy is putting out some Latin vibes in her new comeback. Here is Ti Amo. Former Very Good member Soyul, who's also the sister of AOA member Yuna, made her solo debut under the name Iso. This is her debut song, Orgo. Rocket Punch brought a fresh new feeling to their recent song Ring Ring. Check out this new acoustic version. Hotfelt's new song Summertime delivers yet another great song for the summer season. And last but not least, we have one heck of a collab. Pepsi brought together Rain, Monsta X, Brave Girls, and ATEEZ for this epic CF called Summer Taste. As always, I want to know what songs from the past week caught your eye down in the comment section. My pick for this week goes to ESO's debut. As you guys know, Very Good are one of my favorite groups, and I love that Soyul is still making music and exploring a new side of herself in her debut. And now let's get back to some more news stories where we've gotten a whole bunch of info about new comebacks. Seriously, there's a lot of comebacks to talk about here, so get ready. The first one is Dreamcatcher. They've revealed this teaser, which can be decoded to mean July 30th with a potential title of Because. Soloist Sunmi is also gearing up for a comeback soon. She's looking to release some new music in August. Rookie Girl Group Weekly are prepping for a comeback themselves, targeting early August for their first comeback in 5 months. In yet another exciting announcement, Jun So-mi has some new music coming for us next month. Her release is due out on August 2nd. And if you're somehow still not satisfied with that upcoming lineup for August, Tomorrow by Together also thinks that August is a great time to drop some new music. We don't know more details yet, but it is planned for next month. Now this one isn't so soon, but according to Cube Entertainment's latest financial statement to investors, G-Idol will be having a group comeback in the third quarter of this year. And in one last new release announcement, former IZ*ONE member Kwon Eunbi shared this week that she's planning on releasing her own solo album sometime this year. And while we're still on the topic of comebacks, though we already know Acme has been prepping one, we did get some crazy news this week about it. They're going to be releasing a new MV for all 7 songs on that upcoming album, which is crazy. 2 former TR members have left their agencies this week. Jiyeon did not re-sign with her agency Partners Puck, and Eunjung likewise ended her contract with Cabin 74. This now means that all Tiara members are not signed to an entertainment agency, or in other words, Tiara is now agent-free. The music show scene is about to get pretty quiet after today's news video. With the Tokyo Olympics on the horizon, all major music shows are shutting down for 3 weeks, with most starting that hiatus next week. Weverse has landed a huge new artist. Blackpink will be joining the online platform on August 2nd, no doubt bringing a ton of new fans with them. And speaking of Blackpink, Osun is reporting that Lisa's MV filming for her potential summer comeback is underway. We did hear a rumor about this several months ago too though, so as YG fans know all too well by now, we shouldn't believe it until we have concrete details. In an interesting bit of news from Daily, and it sounds like there's been some pushback amongst K-pop producers this year as labels have been demanding more and more Western influenced songs. Several of those interviewed brought up Taeyeon's new comeback weekend and its similarities to some of Doja Cat's new music as an example of big labels limiting creativity. Personally, I think K-pop is so special because it draws inspiration from all those other genres and parts of the world, but it shouldn't be forced to copy one specific style just to become successful. But what do you guys think? Lee Chae-yeon of IZ*ONE is going to be on yet another survival show. She's joining the list of contestants on the upcoming Mnet show Street Woman Fighter, which focuses on dance crews. I want to give a quick congratulations to A-Pink this week. Their MV for Mr. Chu has passed 100 million views, making it their first video to do so. You can make it 7. BTS's Butter has held on to its coveted #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 for the 7th consecutive week. These boys truly know no limits, do they? Dispatch shared some more details on the breakdown of IZ*ONE reunion talks recently. According to their sources, there were 2 members in particular who had no intentions of further promotions past that 2.5-year window that was planned for them after Protest 48. And while I would love to see a reunion, I can't blame them. We all knew from the start as fans and as members that IZ*ONE would end at that time. And in our last bit of news, it sounds like SM is ready to get serious about sasaengs. While this should have happened years ago, SM revealed in a statement that they will, quote, take decisive and strong action without leniency or agreement against sasaeng fans. Hopefully they back those strong words with some equally strong actions soon. Alright, now let's talk about what happened on music shows. As I mentioned earlier, music shows are now shutting down for the Olympics, so enjoy this week while you can. The week started off with G-Idol's Jun So-yeon making a splash on the show and earning her first win for the song Beam Beam. NCT Dream kept their momentum going as well this week as they followed up last week's 4 wins with 2 more on Show Champion and M Countdown for their song Hello Future. Then it was BTS doing BTS things. The Bangtan Boys won yet again for Butter on Music Bank and then followed that up with their first 2 wins for Permission to Dance on Show Music Core and Inkigayo. This marks yet another week where BTS have won music shows for 2 different songs in the same week. So, since we're not going to see much action on the music show front next week, here is my somewhat facetious question for you. Did Dreamcatcher plan their July 30th comeback to avoid music shows? I kid, of course, but unfortunately it does look like the no-win streak will continue through this comeback because of all the shutdowns. Alright K-popers, you're now officially caught up on everything that's going on in the K-pop world. Let me know how you feel about all the news stories that we got this week as well as the new music down in the comments. As always, if you want to stay caught up with the K-pop world as it happens while having a ton of fun every single week, make sure you're subscribed right here to Hallyu.